What's up, Banana Bunch? Bunch? Bunch?
Welcome to the Jungle Gyms podcast. What's up, Banana Bunch? You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Jungle Gyms podcast. Yeah, that's the longest way I could draw that out. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks so much for your support. As always, I appreciate all of you out there in the audio land. And of course, those of you who have done me a really nice favor and subscribed to us on YouTube, drive those YouTube versions, because I want to show you some of the stuff that we're doing too. But of course, I appreciate all of you for supporting and listening to the show. Thank you. I've had a lot of people in the last week tell me, they're like, Mark, I love the show. And then not just say that, but then give me a specific reference to the show too. That's how I know you're a real fan. Appreciate you. All right, folks. Well, before we dive into this week's episode, a few things I want to get out of the way. I've mentioned it a bunch recently. We've got 2 festivals with tickets available now. Coming up first this year in June is our International Beer Festival. That kicks off June 16th. Tickets are available right now for it. Highly recommend you jump in there. There's over 400 beers from all over the world. You get to chat with the experts. You can shake their hands. I almost said to hold their hands. I mean, I guess you could hold their hands too. At this point, you're probably asking to kiss the beer vendors. I find it weird, but you know what? You do you. If they're cool with it, I'm cool with it too. But we just announced this. I believe this was last week, and it's official now. The Weekend of Fire is back. We've also got a car show as part of it. I think that should be really, really cool. But tickets are available for both of these festivals on junglefests.com. It's hard to say, but that's fest plural. Jungle Fests. Okay. I think when we bought that website, we didn't think how often I'd have to say it awkwardly on air. Weekend of Fire is going to be awesome, though. We've got all kinds of hot sauce vendors and other similar products from all over the country and world coming into the store. You get to sample all kinds of stuff. I'm doing some bits there, I think, and it's not 100% official yet, but I'm just going to keep teasing it until it becomes real. But I believe I'm actually going to be making a hot sauce there with one of our vendors, Farmer Nate Sauces. What's up, Nate? Live at the show at some point. That's going to be really cool. And of course, like I said, you could sample all these fun products, and it goes from mild to wild. And I don't mean that in the Reddit sense. All right, you're still with me. So that is going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you get those tickets. They're going to sell out quick. They always do. You know how our festivals do. We just did this one a few weeks back, a customer appreciation event, and I'll have some footage for that in an upcoming episode. But the tickets for that sold out in like the first few minutes. So I'm not kidding when I say, please jump on this, because I'd like to hang out with you. You're all very nice to me in public. I very much appreciate it. You're better than my real friends sometimes. Tell that to them. All right. Well, this week I had a fun opportunity. So, I have a background in film, media, all that fun stuff. And of course, I love food. And so when I found out that there was a cool food show being shot in the area, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do something about this. So I found out the show Top Vegan. It's airing right now. It's on YouTube and a few other platforms. We'll let the host and creator of the show tell you more in the actual interview segment here, talk about it. But I was like, oh, this is such a cool opportunity. We should meet this guy and see what's going on. Hey, maybe one day we'll shoot an episode here in the store. Like, that could be fun, right? So let me, as you're watching along now, let me take you on a short tour of our store here. So in the natural food section, we have a huge natural food selection. We carry foods, a ton of like gluten-free. We're always aiming to appeal to as many people as possible, right? Any kind of dietary restrictions, allergy needs, that kind of stuff. We also carry a ton of vegan and plant-based opportunities too. So, I wanted to showcase that here. I know for those of you just listening to the audio version, you're like, great, I can hear how you're describing, but there's aisles and aisles. I feel like sometimes we have a larger natural foods / vegan, whatever you'd like to call that area. It's larger than some actual whole stores are, just to give you an idea of the scale. And while we were there, I wanted to pick up a product that I actually really enjoy from that world. The owner and I play phone tag every few months. What'll happen is we'll usually try to connect on something, and then we'll miss the other person's message, and then 3 or 4 months later, catch back up. We should get better at that. But the brand is called Tickety Boo Treats. I'll get a little tight shot for you here. Tickety Boo, by the way, for those of you who do not or are not super familiar with British slang, tickety moo means that's fine. Like, it's fine. It's all good. It's kind of like that, right? Like, you ever hear the expression here in the US? That's the ticket. They're kind of like siblings in that regard. But let me give you a little background here on Tickety Boo. So what she's got here, you remove these, they're frozen. You keep them frozen until you're ready to eat them. but they are gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, and vegan little treats. So they're effectively cheesecakes. But I guess you can't call it cheese because it's, but you get what I'm going with here. So the one in particular I picked out, this is one of my favorites. She's got a whole line of them. They're all really good. The lemon wild blueberry cheesecake. I thought it was not just my favorite to eat, but it also looked nice on camera. But just to give you an idea, I mean, there's the only thing that this isn't is nut free because that makes up a lot of stuff. So it's just like cashews, water, maple syrup, almond flour, coconut sugar, coconut oil, lemon juice, wild blueberries, pink Himalayan salt, lemon zest, and some blue corn flower petals. You can actually see them right on there. It's cute. They're self-packaged. I love the new packaging, by the way. Individually, not self-packaged. I mean, it'd be cool if the cheesecake could package itself. That'd be crazy. I think that would be a way bigger news story than, wow, we have vegan cheesecakes. No, we have cheesecakes that package themselves. But they're individually wrapped. They come in a bunch of flavors. I love the Mexican hot chocolate. That one's really great. There's a churro flavor that's awesome. And even just the regular with the dark cherry sauce. Chef's kiss, baby. So I wanted to showcase that. I thought about eating it on here, but I did not. I actually left it in the freezer too long, so I won't subject you to that. But just know that I love it and it's delicious. Thank you so much. Come in and try. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. You saw all the weird, like, I say weird, I don't mean it bad, relax. But all of the unique plant-based meat options. It's so cool. There's so many options out there. So because of all this stuff, I thought that was a good tie with the show happening here with Top Vegan. And I didn't just talk about the show, but I talked about some questions I had about vegan culture and the lifestyle. And, I should mention Chad, in addition to being the host of the show, he's also a restaurateur and owns multiple restaurants in Columbus that serve exclusively vegan food. Hey, I'm going there this week. Maybe I'll go try it out. Anyway, welcome to the studio, Chad. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you, Mark?
I'm awesome, dude. Welcome to the show. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
So about myself, I am a vegan, plant-based restaurateur from Columbus. I've been vegan for about 7 years. About a year later, got into the restaurant industry. I had been a server at places before, no real experience, but trying to start a lot of businesses with my friends. We went vegan. We were like, let's open a restaurant.
Sure.
Of course, natural course of events. Been doing that the last 6 years. Opened a small restaurant on Ohio State's campus called Edenburger with some friends of mine.
Yeah.
In 2019, I opened a downtown diner with my family.
Yeah. Is that also vegan?
All vegan, yep.
Perfect.
And we do breakfast all day, pancakes. We've got some stuffed crust pizza. So just a little bit bigger space, a little bit bigger menu than like the fast food concept we were doing before. And then, in the last year, I had sold out of my original restaurant, Edenburger, and used those funds to launch Top Vegan, my new venture, which is a plant-based cooking competition show, 8 chefs, 6 challenges, business mentorship, $10,000 cash prize, and the title of Top Vegan on the line.
I love it. That is very cool. So and the show has launched, right? Your first 2 episodes are out, right?
Just this last week, April 20th, first 2 episodes came out.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So what are some maybe common misconceptions about the world of vegan food that you have tried to, because I imagine you want to turn on people like myself who have like a more omnivorous diet to be more open-minded about vegan food and culture and all that stuff. Do you find that there are certain misconceptions that we all have about what you make?
I think so, and I think that's been a big driver behind the type of restaurants I've tried to start, as well as some of the themes of the show. A lot of the main stereotypes is, one, I've got to give up everything I've ever loved growing up and eating as a child. I don't want to eat just salads, kale, and quinoa for the rest of my life. And where the hell am I going to get all my protein from? Those are really the biggest 3 things you hear. So I started with typical American food, burgers, fries, shakes, in order to just, kind of show that a lot of the traditional American foods we grew up with, you don't have to give up. You just have to change the recipe slightly.
Yeah.
Of course, it's never going to be exactly the same.
Right.
But just because you're making a compromise on what you're eating doesn't mean you have to completely compromise your entire enjoyment of eating your favorite foods. And that's something we look to address in Top Vegan as well. And some of the challenges starting with classic American, going to the international roots of veganism and showing that this isn't something that started 10 years ago in LA
Right.
with famous actors and models. Plant-based diets have been flourished by communities for literally humanity's existence.
Yeah.
The hunters that couldn't hunt well relied on the gatherers
so
for
true.
some berries to keep them going the next day. Along with, of course, like Western Asian communities,
Right.
India, the Middle East. And then going on to protein challenge desserts, really trying to cover that whole spread of, if you're curious to this, there are ways you can try it. There are substitutes you can enjoy. And what we try not to do at both the restaurant and the show is, it's not to be preachy and, it's
Sure.
not necessarily meant to convert, but rather, like you said, keep an open mind.
Yeah.
If you go to a restaurant and see something interesting, or you end up at an all-vegan restaurant with one of your vegetarian friends,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be the scariest thing in the world. And that's my thing is, I'm not here to browbeat anyone about their choices. More so, I want to put the options out there and make them comparable in price and taste and quality. So that people just keep an open mind, and what they choose to do with that is whatever they want,
It's one of the things I like about Jungle Gyms too, honestly. Same kind of thing, right? We're on an international scale where it's like, hey, you might not have ever tried that. And sure, we've got all of your safety. We have American Grocery here, but we want to encourage you the same way, right? We want you to try
Absolutely.
new things. So I think it was I liked that when I was doing my research leading up to this. I was like, okay, I like that very much about you and the brand and the show. And before we dive into the show, hi, everyone. This is my favorite part. You get fans on the fly. No, what I was going to ask you, though, was do you have a favorite recipe that you've concocted for your restaurants over the time that you think has either been maybe twofold, one that you like the most, and then one that you think has been most popular with non-vegans?
So I think, at our original restaurant, Edenburger, we were definitely proud of like the veggie patty. It was a great veggie patty. But I think, again, you kind of lose people in just having it be such a veggie patty.
Right.
Now I'd say my favorites at 4th and State have become both original recipes for our like tempeh chicken tenders, our chicken pretendies, we call them.
I love it.
Because they're just
Clever
some
name.
tempeh pretending to be chicken tenders. And our pancakes. And as simple as a pancake can be, you rarely see them available vegan because it's eggs, milk, butter.
Right.
I
didn't even think about that.
Things that generally are not vegan, or, now modern technologies have made them widely available.
Sure.
But just not the first thing you assume. And it took us a while to get the pancakes to be really great at the restaurant. And now they're great. They're my favorite. And it's just such a classic American breakfast staple. There's nothing like a great pancake.
Right. You hit that like food memory note where you're like, okay, this brings me back.
Yeah, and I used to always go to IHOP and mix a little pancake with some chicken tenders, some sweet and savory. I've always, and now they're my two favorite, menu items. So,
That's so
really,
cool.
really coming full circle.
I love it. No, hey. Well, and speaking of coming full circle, talk to me about how the inception of Top Vegan happened.
That's really, it was about a year ago, a year and maybe a few months that I had the idea. Film and television has always been something I'm really passionate about. I've been doing, small local acting roles and a little bit of comedy in Columbus. Nothing major, but open mics and improv classes, short films, things of that nature. I've written some, so that's always a career path I had in mind. Once the pandemic hit and so much of our time was inside, my girlfriend and I just started going through all these different cooking shows. We started with Hell's Kitchen.
Yep.
I had seen like Bar Rescue in the past, but I'd never really dove into the complex world of reality cooking competition shows. We went through Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares, Top Chef, and all these other ancillary upstart competition shows. And I can be a creature of what I'm consuming. Anything I consume a lot, I just end up wanting to make something. And it seemed really in line with my passion. I love food. I love cooking now.
Yeah.
I've always loved film and television. I've been looking for ways to increase the impact of what we're trying to do at the restaurants, but my pancakes and pretendies can only go so far. Being able to have the thought of you could put a show on YouTube, or, in the future, the ideal situation is it maybe gets picked up by a major streaming service or Food Network, perhaps. If not, I'm happy to stay on YouTube. Huge audience,
right.
Yeah. But yeah, the thought is if I could put that out, not only could I maybe influence perspectives around plant-based diets more so than I can at my, singular restaurant now in Columbus, Ohio, but also create a viable path for myself to continue merging my passions. And if this is something that can go a second or third season, whether it's upstart from my own funding still, or it gets picked up and becomes something much bigger. Just looking to be more in line with my passions and have fun and experiment. I always love to roll the dice on something new. So.
Of course. So for those of us who have not watched yet, this is one of those moments where I'm like staring into the camera, like, tell it for them. Walk us through an episode of Top Vegan. Like, what can we expect on the show?
You can expect, of course, a gregarious host, maybe one of the best in the biz. It's me, and I'm not. But we've got a great cast. My favorite part of this has been getting to show everyone, the people that I got to spend that time with. And the cast is great, just full of really wholesome individuals. We have one challenge per episode. Parameters, like I had mentioned, range from classic American, international roots, protein, desserts. They come to my restaurant for a day. And the finale is a business pitch.
Oh, awesome.
Where they're pitching a vegan business concept that they think can elevate veganism from a perspective standpoint of making it more digestible or accessibility, whatever direction they take with it. So, we've got a parameter for each episode, a guest judge from the Ohio food community, other restaurateurs, chefs, business owners. They get 75 minutes to cook their hearts out, choosing from the available ingredients in our top vegan pantry. You get to see me and a friend eat a bunch of those dishes, sometimes very messily. A winner is awarded each episode, and then I play the big bad wolf and have to send someone home. And I learned that was the tough part for me. Sure, yeah. As you go on in the series, I get a little bit more teary-eyed each episode, and you really get a feel for just how soft I am in reality.
It's one of those things that, like, I don't think I feel like part of me, if I could turn it on in that moment, I'm like, I might be good at it and be like, all right, time to be cutthroat, Mark. But realistically, I'm right with you on that. I feel like that would be the hardest part.
Oh, yeah.
Let me dash your dreams real fast.
Yeah, and that was exactly the feeling I had before going in to the elimination each day is, man, I really got to look someone in the eyes and be like, man, that thing that you really wanted? Sorry.
I don't want it as much as you do.
Yeah, sorry, but it ain't going to be yours on this run.
Right.
Who knows what the future holds.
But, the other thing that always probably good for, it's hard when you are the receiving end of it, but I guess maybe if I can get on my soapbox for a second, the good news is you made it pretty far, right?
For sure.
And second place is not really a bad thing.
No. And really I think so many of our contestants were either home chefs or just upstart. Nobody was crazy. I mean, there are definitely tiers, but I think everybody had such a good time getting to know the other chefs and contestants and kind of forging some friendships that, even if you go home episode 2, 3 or whatever, you made some great contacts and, everybody came out of there really inspired. And I've been following everyone's Instagram since and seeing the dishes that they're putting out now and kind of where the inspiration has taken them. Everybody took something positive away from that, which is great. And, the winner took away all those positive things plus $10K cash.
Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome.
So that's what you're in for. But everybody, tiers or not, had a great time on the show, which I'm so glad to hear thankful for. Yeah.
Well, you worked with a lot of my favorite people in the production industry here locally too. So I saw a lot of familiar faces on there. So that was great. So I know it's going to look good. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, to be clear. But
and that's okay. We definitely had a star-studded production cast. A lot from here in Cincinnati, some crew from Dayton, a couple people from Columbus.
Sure.
And it's also really helped, again, the whole small world, everybody's so connected.
Yeah.
Seeing so many of these people on productions that I've known from different productions, or
Right.
people reaching out and being like, hey, your sound guy, I work with them all the time. I love them. Can't
Yeah.
wait to watch the show. I know it's going to sound
Exactly.
great.
Right.
And it did. I think, you know, an upstart production, you never know where the quality is going to go. And I that's one of the biggest things we've taken away is everybody's saying, you know, it looks and sounds great and it flows like a normal TV show. You know, I've launched a lot of different businesses and like prototypes of businesses. And this is definitely my best first version.
Cool. I get it.
I've had some first versions that have been less than stellar, and people still show out and support.
Right.
But you know, I watch it and I'm like, man, as critical on myself as I can be sometimes,
Right.
for a first time TV show, and a lot of the people working on set, this was maybe their first foray into reality,
Right.
or this like a competition style show. A lot of people from, you know, the film community,
Right.
where everything's so structured and set up.
And this is way more loose.
And this
yeah.
is wild, wild west,
Yep.
and especially working with I'm the wildest and the westest of all, so I'm a wild card as well.
Preaching to the choir, my friend.
So everybody that was able to stick it out through the production and make it turn out so great, I'm eternally grateful for, because those are just skills that I don't have, and I couldn't have done, you know, anything close to this without so many people with so much experience. And it was great to, you know, keep it all here in Ohio.
Yeah. You spoke to something. It's like one of my, as somebody also has been producing content for a long time, it's always funny when you make something. And like, I feel like if I release something, I know it's good, right? You know what I mean? And I hate myself enough to know when I'm not good.
Yeah,
Truly.
absolutely.
Like, and one of my least favorite compliments is when somebody says something along the lines of, it's like a real show. And I'm like, thank you for how I just found out you felt about the rest of my career.
And
I know they don't mean anything bad, but it's always like a thing. They're like, wow, this is like real TV. And I'm like, thank you. You
Yeah.
know how to,
For sure.
I get it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound
especially,
like.
you know, of course, when the first round of articles come out and the trailer comes out, and it's, you know, the Reddit community can be a bit unforgiving.
Oh, God, a bit.
Instagram comments on the Columbus, you know,
Haters come out of the woodwork sometimes.
Exactly. And, you know, I'm glad that now that the show has come out, the quality has just outshone what really anybody probably could have expected from, you know, a local, you know, in comparison to other shows like this, very low budget production.
Sure. There's an ancient proverb I always think of in these moments, and it's simple. F*** 'em.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's me. I almost want to get that tattooed on me. That is special. Yeah, break it up. I got a whole chest piece right here from it. It's tribal.
I'm like,
it's
just
ancient.
kidding. It's still my Michael Jackson "Who's Bad" tattoo.
Who's bad? You bad.
As a wrap up then for you, Chad,
Okay.
this is a question I think you might be, and we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but if someone out there is watching this right now, they're like, you know what, I am curious about vegan culture, but I am scared of giving up all of those things we love. Is there a certain product or thing you might tell people to try as their, like, I use the expression gateway drug into veganism?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it would be thinking of what a few of your favorite foods are. And, you know, looking for a substitute. I mean, if you want to keep it simple, Beyond Meat, we use it at the restaurant. It's been huge. You know, we serve probably just as many non-vegans as we do vegans.
Yeah.
Because, again, all the food is made to look and taste, you know, be similar taste, texture, profiles to everything that you would order. The menu looks like a normal diner.
Right.
So I would just find the safest food that you enjoy eating the most, even if it's just ice cream. There's a lot of great vegan ice cream.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, Ben & Jerry's is like 50% of their catalog is now plant-based.
It's just amazing.
You got these major food corporations from Tyson, Bolt House. I mean,
Everybody's jumping
McDonald's
in.
is striking up a deal with Beyond Meat. I mean, everybody's going for it. So I'd say, you know, give something to try. And if you don't want to cook yourself, all around in every city in Ohio, there's at least a handful of really great vegan spots.
Sure.
So roll the dice, go out one night, give it a go for something. I wouldn't go too far out of your comfort zone the first time. So many people think, oh man, I got kale and quinoa is my first dish for lunch, going to the salad bowl place.
Yeah, right, of
and
course.
it doesn't have to be torture. It can be a spectrum of, just because it's vegan doesn't mean it has to be the crazy healthiest thing with raw whole vegetables, though those things are great and they're great for you.
Yeah.
So much of it is about practicality and, how much are you willing to sacrifice or willing to try, and whatever that is, just start there. There's no, it'd be like trying to start weightlifting and looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger as like the benchmark for,
right.
Am I really about this life?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm starting there.
I've been working out a long time and I'm far from Schwarzenegger. So I understand, you can keep an open mind, you can dabble, but you don't have to be the staunchest, like holiest of devout vegans to work a couple plants into the diet.
Yeah, dip your toes in the water a little bit, hop in the jacuzzi.
Exactly. Oh yeah, yeah. Warm it up. Hey, don't even get your knees wet.
Yeah,
keep
I'm in the bottom, just
down.
blow bubbles.
That's right.
So. That's awesome. Well, Chad, congratulations. I wish you the best of success with Top Vegan and, of course, your restaurants as well.
Thank you
and
so
hey, who
much.
knows? Maybe we'll shoot an episode here one day.
Yeah, I was just watching around. I was like, season 2 might have to be in Cincinnati.
Hey, call me.
And I did a lot of grocery shopping at a lot of different stores in Columbus in order to grab the range of everything we needed. I think these chefs could get everything they need right here from Jungle Gyms. So we might have season 2. We'll be talking.
You know where to find me now.
You got it.
I live in the studio now.
That's right. We're in the jungle. I'll bring my machete and I will find you, my friend.
You say that like I don't have one in here too. Chad, thanks so much for coming in today. I appreciate it. Congratulations on the success of Top Vegan. Hopefully it's a huge hit. And like I said twice now in the show, hopefully we get to do an episode here one day. That would be a lot of fun, right? Either that or I'll finally do my supermarket sweep episode I've always wanted to do. But the nice thing about that show is they don't have to think about customer liability, insurance, and all those other nightmare things because it's just a fake TV show, not in a real grocery store. All right, everyone. Well, hey, as always, thank you all so much for being a part of the show. Thank you for watching, subscribing, all that good stuff. If you are a fan of what I'm doing, look, even if you're not going to watch on YouTube, what you could do really to help me out, I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers since I took over the channel here, which is really cool. It's fun to build things organically. But you could go over to the Jungle Gyms YouTube page. You can click that little subscribe button, hit that bell for me. That'll let you know when new videos come out too. If you do want to watch, because we're not just doing the podcast episode, we're also doing little other fun pieces. We're working on like a series of videos where we can show you every month what's coming in new to the store. So you get an idea of some new products that we bring in because we get a lot of exclusives. Things first. You saw last week I had those mustard chips and the mustard Doritos in before anybody else. And then you got to have them too. So, all right. Thank you all for the love and the subscriptions, all of that good stuff. Appreciate the support. And on that, I'll see you out there in the aisles. Yeah. The Jungle Gyms podcast is recorded in the WJJI studio inside Jungle Gyms International Market in Fairfield, Ohio. The Jungle Gyms podcast is produced and hosted by Mark Borison.